everybody, and welcome back to the Sogcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Matt.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm Owen.
We also have a special guest today.
I'm Allison.
Yeah.
The Mariners are currently 62-53 and still right there in the second wildcard spot.
Oh, yeah. They are still holding their spot there. They're kind of bouncing back and forth with the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays have played 3 less games than us, but it's kind of a virtual tie at the moment.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They've played 3 less games, so the Mariners actually have one more win than the Blue Jays, but because they've played less, they have one less loss, so it shows them higher in the standings. But for all intents and purposes, they're pretty much tied for the first wildcard spot.
For the first time, went up 10 games over 500, and then after tonight's loss, bounced back down. But that's the first time I've seen that happen in so long, and they've been holding their own since the All-Star break. I love to see it, and the schedule coming up, we'll talk about in a bit. It's looking good for the Mariners.
And, I mean, they had such a rough stretch coming out of the All-Star break. It was so tough. I mean, Yankees, Astros, Yankees, over and over again. But they just won not only the series against the Yankees at home, the season series overall, which has not been done since 2002.
20 years.
Yeah, winning the season series against the Yankees is huge. And the last games we played just a couple of days ago against the Yankees were amazing.
That 13-inning barn burner was nuts. It was crazy. I mean, if you see like a 13-inning game go 1-0, you'd think it was a boring game. But honestly, I was there. So was Allison. It was one of the most exciting games I've ever seen. It was amazing.
Just listening on the radio, like the vibes were off the wall. I've never heard the stadium so packed on a Tuesday night. This is fucking crazy,
yeah, what was it, like 38,000 or something like that?
Yeah, it was something in there. And man, the atmosphere, a 1-0 game has never been so exciting. And what's crazy is baseball, like anytime you go to a game, history could happen. Like you could be seeing something crazy. More often than not, it's going to be the Mariners win 5-2 or, a 4-3 loss or whatever, just an average game. But anytime you go and watch a baseball game, you have a chance to see history. And that was a historic game. Like I was leaving the stadium and I was just like, I just saw one of the craziest games I've ever seen. It was amazing.
There were 2 innings back to back where the Mariners only faced 2 batters and got 3 outs.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was insane. I can't believe we faced 2 batters in consecutive innings. Has that ever happened? I'm not sure. That's a hard thing to look up, but it's pretty technical with this runner on second bullshit that I hope is out of the league next year.
Yeah.
I just want to say Luis Castillo's first start at home against the Yankees. That was insane,
scoreless,
dude.
man.
Like, no wonder that place was electric and on fire, dude. That place was so loud. I was almost like laughing, crying tears at work because it was like epic feeling. It felt like a playoff atmosphere for the first time, and I don't know, forever, my whole life.
As long as I can remember.
Since I've been 11.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about that game is the longer it went into innings, I was like, okay, we have to win this. Like, it's almost embarrassing if we don't win it at this point because it's been going for so long. And I just had that feeling that we were going to win it. And, every inning that went, 11th, 12th inning, the crowd got more and more hyped. It wasn't like we got bored and people were starting to leave. I would say for a Tuesday night at 11 p.m., it was pretty stacked and everyone was there.
Yeah, I mean, you 2 went to the game by like the 12th, 13th, where there's still like a ton of people left.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It did not. I mean, the people that left early left in the 9th. So the people that stayed for the 10th stayed there for the 13th. There was drama throughout the game. The Mariners would have runners on. They had their chances to score and end it early. Suarez came up in a big time and didn't follow through, but the drama was there.
Yeah, it went back and forth, like bases loaded. We had the bases loaded and couldn't capitalize. Suarez broke his bat. They had the bases loaded, and it felt awful. Like, I thought they were going to have the walk-off hit, and it was going to be devastating, and I was just, like, hoping. And we somehow came out, and we even had to forego our DH spot and had, like, brash pitching because we moved Haniger to right field, and then Terens was the last guy on our bench and got it done in the last moment when we would have been on our last legs after that. Like, without Terens, we would have had a pitcher hitting in the lineup and no players on the bench, and it ended up being a nice send-off for Terens.
Yeah, I will say one thing about the game, too, is that everything was clicking from the bullpen to our fielding. Just everyone was clicking, and it was so fun to see every pitcher get hyped every single time the inning ended. You saw Paul Sewald have a great reaction when he struck out to end the inning. And it was just so fun to see, like, the guys not only have fun but work together, and I think that that's a big thing that's going to win us games if we do go into a playoff push or into September. The fact that our guys, like, trust each other on the field, they have fun, they know what they're doing, I think is a big thing. And we saw that on the double plays too, that they trusted the fielding. They knew what each guy was doing, and they knew they were going to get it done. And it was really fun to see, especially in person.
They definitely have a great chemistry, and they all know how to play their role and switch roles, and they build off of each other's energy. Like, one pitcher comes in and shuts it down, and the next guy enters the game with the same energy that guy left with. They build off of each other until it's the end of the game, and we're, 46-0 now when we're leading into the 8th inning?
That's right.
The only team that's undefeated in that situation.
So Terens came up big.
Yeah, he walked it off for us in the 13th, man.
He walked it off and then walked to the unemployment line.
Sure did.
Why do we still have Terens if we have Casali now?
We
Oh,
don't.
We don't. Yeah, we finally
He got
DFA'd
DFA'd?
Terens.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been celebrating it.
Casali came up a little earlier than I expected him to, like mid-August instead of I was kind of expecting late August, early September for Casali. But we knew when he was healthy that Terens was getting DFA'd immediately. So, it happened, and his last opportunity was a happy one.
Yeah, I'm glad we can finally stop talking about Luis Terens, and I'm glad we can send him off in good spirits. He really hooked it up in that 13th inning. Dude, good for him. I hope someone picks him up, and I'll be cheering for him. As much shit as I talked about him, I'm still going to be like, it's Luis Terens. Hell yeah. Go Diamondbacks.
Someone will pick him up for sure, man. He'll be around.
Yeah, I mean, talk about riding off into the sunset. It was a good way for him to go out, and I agree the sentiment. Like, I'll root for him if he ends up somewhere else or whatever. I'm glad he's no longer on the Mariners and no longer a topic of discussion for us.
Next up, Marco Gonzalez.
Boo.
That is a topic of discussion that we'll have to have here. He pitched today against the Texas Rangers, who we'd won 9 games against in a row. And Marco came out. He looked good for the first 3 innings. We were like, yeah, I think today he'll actually do it, man. He might go 5 shutout.
I felt the same way, man.
He might do it, but no.
I wanted so badly to say good things about Marco on this show, but can't do it, man. Don't have it in me.
I'm sick of him. I don't got much to say about him. Just stop. I don't want him to be a starter anymore.
And they used Flexen out of the bullpen today to relieve Marco, and I'm wondering if soon we'll see that flipped, if we might see Marco go into a bullpen role, which I don't think he will. I think he has too much tenure on the team, and he'll put his foot down and be like, no, I'm a starter. And I think Flexen will probably remain in the bullpen.
Yeah, dude, I don't even give a shit. I don't want to see Marco in the bullpen. I just don't want to see Marco pitch anymore. I don't think he has a place on this team. He's not good enough. Dude, for real. He's not good enough to be a starter in this rotation right now, especially with how good the Mariners are playing. He's one of the weakest links on the team.
With our great problem of having 6 starters, it's not bad, but the real benefit of having Marco is that he's a lefty in our rotation. He can make starts, and it really does seem like he's fallen off a cliff here. Like, his last 30 starts, he has a 4.18 ERA in 130. What was his last 23 starts all year? 4.18, like 129 innings pitched, 142 hits, 40 walks. His WHIP is way over 1. He definitely strikes out more dudes than he walks, but like his last 7 starts, he has an over 6 ERA. His WHIP is 1.58, 25 Ks, 8 walks, 28 earned runs. He's fallen off a cliff here.
He's
and,
also given up 21 home runs. That's the third most in baseball.
It's pretty bad. It's kind of sucks that we need a lefty, and it would be great if we could move Marco to the pen, but he doesn't settle in very quickly. It's not a guy to bring into the pen. Flexen is flexible. Flexes. He's more
because
useful
flex.
there.
I get it.
But
Flex really knows how to seal the game up too, you know.
Flex Seal. Got it. Not a sponsor. Shout out to Flex Seal.
I think the hard thing with Marco too is it's painful to watch him get his pitch count up so early in the game, and you don't want to go that deep into your bullpen. And the nice thing is, like, we do have a bullpen that we can trust right now, but we don't want to see Marco go, 40, 50 pitches by the second inning, and that's happened a lot this season. And, there are times that he's figured it out later in the game, but do we want to see that happen every single time he's on the mound? And I feel like with the push that we're getting at, it's the same thing as like Kelenic and Toro. It's like we don't have time for guys to like figure it out in the moment. Like we need guys who are there and they're ready. They have it figured out. And I don't know if Marco has that right now. And he started out good, I think, at the start of this season. He started out well, like he was top in our rotation. And now I think with the guys that we're picking up too and the guys that are improving in our rotation, he's kind of starting to get lower and lower in that rotation spot. And I would argue and say that he's probably the lowest in our rotation just based on the runs he's given up and how high he goes into his pitches in the game.
We need you around more, Allison. Me and Owen need this support.
I love the Marco hate. I'm here for it.
Me
Speaking of
too.
the high pitch count, does anybody get Eric Bedard vibes?
Well, at least Eric Bedard would just decide he was done pitching in the 4th inning. He would rock his pitch count, and it would be like the 4th or 5th inning, and he's like, you know what? I don't really feel like playing anymore today. I'm done with baseball for the day. Thank you.
He'd have like 75 pitches in the 4th. with, like one
No
out.
thanks, I'm full.
Walk the bases loaded and throw a couple down the middle. Like, we good? You pull me now?
Please get me out of this jam that I created.
Yeah, and Marco taking the starting role and Flexen moving into the bullpen is just one of the many roster moves the Mariners have made recently. I mean, there's been plenty of them.
Yeah, and we I think last week we had talked about, who are they going to send down, Lewis or Kelenic? And they pulled a wild card and sent both of them down.
Yeah, I was not expecting both of them to get sent down. We figured they'd hold on to one of them at least, but Toro sent down, Kelenic sent down, Lewis sent down.
I was kind of surprised that Toro got sent down. It kind of went unnoticed for a day for me, and then I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, Toro's just not there anymore. We got Sam Haggerty moving up into this utility role position under Dylan Moore, surpassing Dylan Moore, and Toro doesn't have a place. And I kind of was thinking that. Like, we kind of need an outfield spot more than we need a 3 second baseman utility spot.
Jesus.
And
We've
Toro
never
wasn't getting
once
it done.
needed 4 second basemen.
Well, it's nice because all of our second basemen are also right fielders, apparently.
And center fielders. Hey, D. Gordon, go play center.
Oh, my God. That was a dark time in Mariners history.
Sad days.
It was interesting that we did end up sending Kyle Lewis and Jared Kelenic down, like both of them. It seems they decided that we have enough flexibility with our utility players and Adam Frazier in the second base left field role with Haniger back playing right field, a great right field, by the way. That
Oh, my
we
God,
have
such
enough-
good right field.
Yeah. we have enough flexibility to cover all of that without having that extra guy on the roster. And when rosters expand, we'll see what happens here, but I think we need to add like an extra outfielder. But otherwise, I think we're back at full strength. It seems like our roster's back at full strength for the first time in months. I
It's
finally
awesome.
saw the roster I want to see on the field.
You
this
read
last
us
week.
a roster a couple weeks ago, and that's the roster we have now. It's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, pretty close.
I do have to say that I've been a Jared fan from the start. I've rooted for him ever since the September push. I think he was a key component during September last year, when we had the Believe going, and it kind of sucks to see him just kind of fall off. And it's hard because his defense is so good. He's good on the field. He knows what he's doing. He reads the ball well when he's in the outfield. However, when he's batting, it's just painful to watch. It's painful to see him change his stance every single time he's at the plate. He's so stiff at the plate, and it's hard because I want him to figure it out so bad. But again, just like how I said with Marco, I don't know if the Mariners are in a spot right now that they can allow him to figure it out at a major league level. And because he only has one option left, I don't know if that means maybe this organization just isn't for him. You know, maybe he has to figure it out somewhere else. Maybe a team who's not going for a playoff push. Who knows? He can get more time at the plate. But for now, I don't know, when September comes, like what the future looks like for Jared. And I think it's hard. I mean, he is only 23, but I think it gets to a point where it's like, okay, at 23, like, when do you figure it out?
Yeah, Kalenic kind of gives me Evan White vibes. Like really solid defense and then just kind of shitty at the plate.
Yep.
And I mean, Evan White, he's injured. No, he's in AAA.
No, he's been injured for a
Okay.
year.
No, he's still.
No, I thought he was playing.
Dude,
he's
rehabbing right
rehabbing.
now?
He
Okay,
had
good.
he had hip surgery and then a sports hernia, so he's rehabbing, but it's gonna take till next year for him to be healthy. But I do think about Kelenic, it's interesting that we sent both of those guys down. Kelenic only having one option left, and it seems like we kind of put him on the top of our trade block when we do that. Kyle Lewis has two options left, I believe, and so we have a little bit more rope with him, but both of those guys seem to be maybes that we can't have maybes at this point in the year, and we sent them down because it's just too much. We can't have those guys, but they do seem to move to the top of our trade block, and I think that's important. Like Kelenic, it was a highly touted prospect, first round pick. We got him from the Mets for the Edwin Diaz trade, but Sewald ended up being the big part of that trade at this point because Kelenic just hasn't figured it out over about 500 at bats. He just cannot do it. I don't know what to say that except for we all hope the best for him, but we can't bring him back up unless we do with expanded rosters just to trade him in the offseason anyway. We can't have him stuck on our roster with no options.
100%. I mean, Kelenic is definitely going to be he's probably going to be a movable piece in the offseason. I believe him and Dylan Moore, especially with the way Haggerty's been playing. And Haggerty has honestly played himself to a starting role. Unfortunately, we just don't have a position for him right now. But he's a guy that can come in any day of the week, any position on the field. He has completely overtaken Dylan Moore. And Dylan Moore is, fun and he's nice to have on the team. But Haggerty is doing what Dylan Moore can do, except better in every aspect. Maybe a little bit less outfield like arm. Dylan Moore might have a slightly stronger arm, but if that's the only thing that's separating them, you got to go Haggerty all the way.
Yeah, just to touch back on Kelenic real quick. I've been a rider for him the last couple episodes, but I'm like realistic about it. If he can't hack it for the Mariners, just trade him. I'm not gonna ride him into a fiery inferno, when he's batting 82. When in end of September, he comes up and it's man on second base, 2 outs. I'm not about that. If you can't hack it, just trade him. Get some decent value from him.
I mean, last week we talked about, are we sending down Kelenic? Are we sending down Lewis? What are the give and take there? Turns out we sent both of them down, and I want to be the guy to say, I said it's nice to have 2 utility players on the team. And I think we should keep the 2 utility players. It's cool. It works. It's kind of unique. As long as it's working, let's do it.
It was a really good call by you to be like, is it bad to have 2 utility players on your team? Because they are outfielders, kind of.
And
Kind
Ham,
of.
and Ham Swaggerty bats left and right. He's a switch hitter.
So, like, I have some stats to support what Patrick and you were saying about how Sam Haggerty's kind of like coming up and taking that utility role, and he's almost like the first line off of our bench. He's the guy who can fill in anywhere and come in and pinch hit in any situation for anybody.
Yeah,
Play
let's
any position.
use this opportunity to showcase our new mini segment, Matt's Stats.
Matt stats.
Stats.
So, real
Matt
simple ones
stats.
today. Haggerty in his last 30 games, he's had 71 at-bats, but 24 hits, 4 homers, 3 stolen bases, struck out 22 times, walked only 6 times. So, I mean, he's up there trying to get his pitch. He's hacking. But his average has been 338. It's on base 385. His slugging 592 for an OPS of 977, almost a 1 dot OPS. And he had clutch homers against the Yankees in both series, on the road and at home, both like to left field. Epic, like the same home run, honestly, both times. And I just felt it coming in the one at home,
It's
too.
badass.
That home run he hit off of Cortez was an absolute piss missile. I was at the game with my mom, and the Mariners were getting shut. They didn't even have a hit at that point. It was like 6 no-hit innings, and he absolutely just diarrheaed all over that ball.
Gross.
And
Shit on.
going from that with 6 no-hit innings to then battling back, getting a massive home run, and then our bullpen coming in and closing it down again. And, I mean, our bullpen has been such a huge part of our season.
That's all they do is close doors, dude. Like, every time they come in after the 8th, like I said earlier, we win every time. And even before that, even if our starters go 5, 6, we have a lineup of dudes. Like I said a couple weeks ago, I feel like we kind of have a 5-headed monster thing going. Even without Casey Sadler this year, Penn Murphy's filled in beautifully. And then we have dudes with K rates that are off the charts. Like Andres Munoz has really found his role. He's the Edwin Diaz of the American League, even though we don't have him anymore.
Yeah, I feel like at the start of the season, there were certain guys in the bullpen, like if Festa came out, I would be a little bit nervous, and I'd be like, Scott, what are you doing? Like, why are you sending this guy out? But we're at a point now that I feel really confident in any guy that comes out. And the Mariners just released that our bullpen has a 2.32 ERA, which is the best in MLB. There's a few talks of what our name should be. I've seen Teal Curtain. I've seen Night Shift. So, it could be a few new nicknames. But it's just nice to see, like, it's just stacked, and it's nice to feel confident no matter who comes out. Whether it's the 6th inning or the 9th inning, I feel good about it.
Teal Curtain's kind of cool.
That's actually
Night
really
Shift's
dope.
taken
I
by
like
the Braves,
I like the
though.
Teal Curtain for
It's
sure.
not bad.
Yeah, Night
But-
Shift was that Brave shit, right?
Night Shift is
Let's
Braves.
Go.
Let's not
Teal
steal.
Curtain. Let's go. Teal Curtain.
Teal Curtain's kind of cool.
Throw
I
a
saw a
hashtag
post-
on Instagram or something.
Iron Curtain
Yeah, sure.
reference.
I
Yeah,
saw.
fuck yeah.
I think it was on like Reddit or something. Someone was saying like this team needs or this bullpen needs a nickname, and I bet the comments are trash. I didn't read them, but I'm just gonna go with what you said. I'm just gonna go with Teal Curtain. That sounds cool.
I don't mind Teal Curtain. I definitely like it. I wonder if we could think of something just like super clever and original though, because Teal Curtain is kind of a play off of the Steelers' Steel Curtain, their dominant defense. If there was just something we could come up with, I want it to be like OG original. But I don't beef with Teal Curtain. But they definitely should get a nickname of some sort. They've earned it.
Night Riders.
That's good.
They've been so nasty. On the other hand, during this stretch after the All-Star break, Logan Gilbert, I've noticed, has taken a little regression. We haven't talked about him a whole lot. We all love Logan Gilbert. He's taken a huge step forward in his second year in the major leagues, and he's striking dudes out. He's commanding the mound, but he's played some tough teams recently. The Yankees a couple times, the Astros a couple times. I think his last 4 starts are both Yankees, Astros, and it's been a rough go.
I don't even want to entertain the thought of Logan Gilbert regression. He just played the Astros and the Yankees, and it's like I don't think it's even worth concerning ourselves with. I think he's solid as hell, and we're going to see him be solid as hell going forward. It's just a couple of super fucking good teams, and that's kind of is what it is. It's a little bit scary, though, thinking about if we're going into the playoffs, he does need to be able to compete against those teams. But for right now, Logan Gilbert's solid, and I'm not worried at all.
Yeah, I agree. I think Logan has the grit, has the dog in him. I remember we were watching when they played Minnesota for, I think it was their opening day. He had a few struggle innings where he would, walk or load up counts, struggle through like 2-3 hits, give up a run here or there. But he pitched great, and he's been killing it this whole year. And again, yeah, he played the Yankees and the Astros, who are the best teams in the American League currently. Both those offenses are nasty. It's hard to really look down on those starts. He did what he could, and the Astros are just nasty. The Yankees, Judge has hit 40 home runs. It's hard to pitch around those guys. So I'm not worried.
I'm kind of on the fence. And one, I'm not necessarily worried because Gilbert has proven time and time again that he's a dominant starter, especially in only his second year. However, these struggles that he had against the top teams, we don't have to worry about that for the rest of the regular season, fortunately enough. However, going into the playoffs, he's going to have to show out against those teams. He can't have those rocky starts. He really needs to be dominant. And yeah, he's only a second-year guy, and I have a ton of faith in him. And I believe that he can step it up when it comes that time, but he does have to. It is a necessity when it comes to the playoff push.
Yeah, I know we're playing the best teams in the American League this last few weeks, and he had a tough time against them. Well, how many home runs did he give up, Garrett? Can you look up how many home runs he gave up in those 4 starts?
Yep.
I feel like he's a fastball-driven pitcher, and if those lineups are looking for fastballs, they're home run hitting lineups. They're not joking around. And if there's a fastball-heavy pitcher, they're going to try to get one in their zone, and Logan's going to make a mistake. He's a guy that goes out there. He doesn't have the most finesse, but he's learned to mix his pitches well enough to be effective. But he's a true fastball pitcher.
5.
5 in 4 starts?
Yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, the home run is a little bit of a problem, but those teams you expect to hit home runs off of you, and Logan's going to have to learn to have a little bit of finesse with his secondary pitches to pitch around these types of dudes and make sure he walks the right guys and strikes out the right guys, since he does have the strikeout type mentality and style.
Now
he,
look up
he definitely
Marco.
had one bad day against the Yankees on August 2nd. He gave up 3 home runs, walked 4 dudes. He got 2 strikeouts. I mean, it was just a rough day for him, and I don't think that's a problem. It's one bad day,
Do you think the league is kind of figuring out what he's doing this year finally? They're kind of catching on to the adjustments he's made, and he has to kind of put the ball back in the hitter's court?
Nope.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't necessarily believe that. I mean, it could be possible. And MLB hitters will always adjust, but I think he just went against 2 of the best offenses, not only in the American League, just in baseball, and they're hitting everyone hard. And he's got a lot of time to build up that confidence because for the rest of the year, the Mariners have the easiest schedule in all of baseball. Now that the bullshit with the Yankees and the Astros over and over again is all out of the way, Mariners ranked easiest strength of schedule for the rest of the season. I feel like Gilbert's going to dominate for a year on out. Maybe a rough start here or there, which is only natural with any pitcher. But the Mariners are sitting pretty for the rest of the year.
He's so young, and we've seen his ability to adapt. He's going to be fine.
And also, picking up Castillo going into the easiest stretch of our schedule is going to be awesome. That dude is a legit power pitcher and dominance pitcher. He's going to be... We have to face people or teams like the Tigers, Teams like
The Nationals.
Like, the hardest teams are going to be the Braves, the Padres a couple times, like National League teams even. So it's not as important for our ranking in the American League. But Luis Castillo has been dominant, and adding him to our rotation just like guarantees another win every time around. And I'm pretty confident in the place we're at in the standings and where we're going to end up because he performed against the Yankees. He pitched 3 of his last 4 starts against the Yankees to like a 2.32 ERA.
And he's won all of them.
Garrett?
2-2.
All wins, yeah. He's dominated that team. Logan Gilbert may have struggled and doesn't have an opportunity to make an adjustment playing them again, but Luis Castillo is a dude who you can almost guarantee. He's a Felix-like guy where it's Felix Day. It's Castillo Day.
The other way I feel confident too is right now, we're kind of fighting the wild card spots with Toronto and Tampa. And the way I feel good about that is they honestly have a bit harder schedules than us. They still have to face Houston and New York 2 more times. So they have some hard series coming up. And, if we don't win it all, I am rooting for the Orioles. The Orioles, I kind of feel like have
same.
become our brother teams. We got that chaos ball with them.
Absolutely.
So I feel good. They have a bit of an easier schedule as well. But, the wild card standings are a bit stressful right now. We are kind of neck and neck. It's like bird versus bird right now. So it does make me feel better that they have a bit harder schedules to deal with and we can just kind of coast. However, I don't want to coast into the postseason and then we face harder teams. And, we've been coasting. I want us to stay hot, and I want it to not be 1-run games. I don't want it to be close. Like, I want us to still put out solid wins, like, no doubters. I want it to feel good going into the end. And I'm really hoping the Mariners, they don't disappoint me. I feel like I get some trust issues. I'm like, we got a wild card. We have a wild card spot clinch, but, like, for how long? Like, which team is going to get hot? Am I going to get disappointed? I'm just hoping that all of our schedules work out and we feel good about it.
We all have trust issues. It's
Yeah.
a built-in thing for Mariners fans in the last 20 seasons.
Yeah, so when the Mariners make the wild card, if it's at home, are we going to that game?
Oh, I would quit my job.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thanks for hiring me, Boeing, and I am out of there because I got wild card baseball to go to.
I'd be there. Yeah, speaking of our schedule here, we have Castillo versus Shohei on Monday, possibly. I kind of saw TBD, but the way things are lining up with Shohei's pitching schedule and Castillo's pitching schedule, looks like he's going to be facing Shohei. And we're just going to keep matching up Castillo against the best pitchers, regardless of 5-day, 6-day rest. I think we're just going to match him up against, a guy like Verlander. We don't have to face the Astros anymore, but any ace in a rotation coming up, we're going to line him up with him. Castillo's so dominant that the Angels have fallen off of their high point earlier this year and are dismal. So I have a feeling that even though Shohei's pitching, Castillo is going to match him just like he did Garrett Cole the last 2 starts.
100%. I'm not worried about Castillo. It's crazy, though, how it's like, welcome to the team. You're pitching against all the best pitchers in the league. That's rough, man.
I feel like anyone that's an Angels fan is now an atheist.
I don't believe.
I'm hoping that the, Shohei and Castillo matchup is good. And I'm also hoping that it's a bit different than the Yankees matchup because the Angels have a weaker offense than the Yankees did. So I'm kind of hoping that we can go up there and actually capitalize on that, on their offense. I'm hoping that we don't give Castillo the Felix treatment that night and that we can actually score runs before the 13th inning. That would be really nice to see, to give Castillo the run support.
Help our boy out. He can't do it alone.
Yeah, my prediction for the game is I think it's going to go probably scoreless to the 5th or 6th, and then Shohei's going to get tired, and then we're going to light him up.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Is Shohei's really a guy who he's a strikeout-based pitcher. He uses a lot of pitches to get a lot of strikeouts and swing and miss. So he does tire out. He'll have like 12 strikeouts through 6 1/3, and you're like, "What the fuck, dude?" But then it's the bullpen for the rest of the game. Hopefully, we tire him out early. He can be pulled in the 5th, 6th inning, and have an opportunity against the Angels bullpen, since they're kind of shaky. I'm sure they have a couple guys back there, but as long as we're in the game and hopefully score a couple runs against Shohei, we're in a good position to win every day, it seems like.
The Angels don't got that teal curtain, bro.
Nope.
The problem with the Angels, though, is it seems like they were also like the Rams and the Seahawks when the Seahawks were one of the best teams in football and the Rams were dog shit, and for some reason they would just manage to beat the Hawks. The Hawks would go like 13-3, and 2 of their losses would be against the Rams. It's the same thing now with the Angels. The Mariners are clearly a better team. The Angels have fallen off of a cliff. They're dog shit. Their manager is dog shit. Their city is dog shit. Their team name when they were the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. They're dog shit. Everything about them is dog shit.
Dude,
they'll still find a way to maybe beat us.
Go off, Queen.
They
Yeah.
did
Fuck
fire
the
us
Angels.
up with that Donnybrook we had way back at the end of May. They fired the boys up. We were fucking good to go after that Donnybrook.
Well, yeah, I mean, they lost an entire fight to just Jesse Winker.
He beat the shit out of some pitcher.
Yeah,
Some haymakers in
Ryan
there.
Tepera.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
The only thing is, I wish the Mariners didn't give me as much stress going into an easy schedule. Like, I feel like they should be easy wins, but knowing the Mariners, they're gonna stress us out, and we could lose a series to the Angels, like an easy win. You know, it's like we weren't meant to win the series with the Yankees, and we did. And so it's like, knowing the Mariners, we could get swept. You just never know what you're gonna get with them. And I feel like that's the hard thing about being a fan of the Mariners sometimes, is that it's like, I can always call it. I'm like, I called it after the All-Star break when we were coming back after our win streak. We were facing the Astros. It was a sold-out crowd. I was like, yep, we're going to lose to the Astros, because you just know that it's going to happen. So I would love to see the Mariners turn their confidence around and make these easy wins going into September and October.
Yeah, I'd say they have a lot of confidence going into this schedule, but like you said, we're trained to feel like, oh no, imminent collapse at any point in time. The Tigers are coming up. Yeah, we can sweep the Tigers, get swept.
Exactly. It's like a performance
no,
under
we've seen
pressure
it
kind of
happen
thing.
Too many times.
Because you go into a series being like, oh, we gotta give it our all. They give it their all and they win. Or you go into a series being like, easy win, and you get fucking swept again.
Yeah.
You just need to have that win now, win all the time mentality. It's like, I don't care how easy this team is on paper.
It does
Play.
feel like that's coming together.
Yeah, I feel that stress point you made, Allison, in my heart of hearts. I feel like from March to like September, I am just straight stressed like every night of the week. And it's just like, okay, when's the collapse going to happen? How bad is it going to be? Can we mitigate it? And it seems like the last couple of years, it's always come down to the wire, which is exciting and fun, but also very stressful. And I'm always anxious, and I'm always kind of in a bad mood, because the last couple of years, it hasn't panned out. And it hasn't panned out like towards like the last week. And you're just like, oh my God, this could be the best, week of my life. And then it's not. And you're just like pissed.
Exactly to that point, dude. Like, Haniger was getting interviewed after a game recently, and he was talking with so much, like, his contract ends at the end of this year, and he was here last year, and he was a huge part of our team last year. He's completely sold on this team regardless of what his contract status is. The way he was talking about this team is like he wasn't even out this year. It was crazy to listen to him talk about the fans and how close we were last year and how much, like, you can tell he wants this regardless of his contract status. And it's really exciting for the first time to look at this roster and love every dude on it and finally feel like they have an actual chance. Like, it makes me feel less anxious.
Yeah, you talking about Mitch makes me think of like his essay that he wrote to Mariners fans at the end of the season.
That was so beautiful.
It was so good. And I was at the last game of the season last year, and to feel that playoff push, this city is hungry for some playoff baseball. And whether or not the city is all baseball fans, like, we're just ready for the chance to witness history. And there's a small part of me that thinks that this could be the team. I'd love to see Julio's first season in the big leagues to be in the playoffs. I would love to see that. And I think that the chemistry that these guys have could get us there. And I've really loved seeing Mitch come back from his injury just ready. Like, he didn't come back kind of stagnant. He came back as the old Mitch.
110%.
And that has been so
dude.
good to see. And I think that Mitch could get us to the playoffs because he has such a good personality in the clubhouse, and the guys definitely look up to him. So to see him there, to see him healthy, and the lineup is not just relying on Mitch. It's all the guys now. Like, everyone's backing it up. So maybe Mitch is right. Like, maybe this is our year.
Mitch
Extend
babe.
him.
And honestly, Mitch comes back from his injury, misses damn near the whole year, and comes back and just starts producing immediately. It's like he never missed a step. And it's crazy. It's honestly mind-blowing if you think the Mariners' record this year, battling so many injuries without a staple like Mitch Haniger, with having one of the hardest schedules in baseball for the first half of the season, and just they're 10 games over 500, which is crazy. And now Mitch is healthy. We're getting all of our roster moves figured out. The Mariners, be excited about this team. It's happening.
You don't have to tell me, man. I'm
Dude,
excited.
It's happening. I think everyone's starting to catch on and realize this team's for real. They've basically locked up a position in the wild card, along with the Rays, the Jays. The Orioles are somehow making a push with us. They seem to be streaking when we streak. Like, they have long winning streaks at the same time as we do. They're doing the same thing we're doing, and it feels awesome to see both of those teams finally make the push and not be a bullshit team that everyone can ignore finally.
Speaking of the playoffs, let's talk about a guy who will not be seeing the playoffs. Let's talk about Fernando Tatis Jr. and getting caught with peds.
Dude, come on, man. He's
Dude, be
young.
juicy.
He's good. Don't do this, man. That's too late now.
Also, Tatis is a known idiot. I mean,
Getting hurt riding his bike or whatever he
riding
did.
his motorcycle,
Yeah.
and he got asked about his motorcycle accident, and he said, which one? The dude,
Legend.
like, where's your PR, man?
There's also a video of him, like, fucking around with a soccer ball and, like, almost rolling his ankle, basically, like a little clip. He's just reckless, man. He's young. He knows he's paid for life. He can kind of do whatever the fuck he wants, but he's being stupid and reckless. It's kind of sucks to see.
He's got Manny Machado in his corner, though. So, I mean, he's got a guy who can tell him from experience, like, hey, kid, quit fucking around and just play the game. Like, you're good. You're going to be okay. But, look, I mean, fuck. It sucks, dude. I'm bummed.
They just signed Juan Soto. So, like, 80 games. They're going to miss him for half the year next year.
It's a lot of games.
At least they have somebody in there to, like, bolster them. And he can get healthy at that point, too. Like, he has a longer time to get healthy.
Part of me wonders, like, will Juan Soto ask for a trade because of this controversy? I mean, is it something that he, like, wants to be associated with? And, going back to Manny Machado, I don't know if you guys have seen the video of him, like, yelling at Tatis in the clubhouse I think it was the ump's calls on his strike zone. Manny was saying to him, like, you're the best guy on the team. Like, don't act like this. Like, I think all the guys in the clubhouse know that he's a hothead, but, like, do they have the patience to deal with him as a young hothead? I'm very curious to hear, like, what the guys in that clubhouse have to say about his cheating.
Yeah, I don't think Tatis was taking, like, straight juice to hit 500 in the minors. He's probably taking some sort of substance to heal his wrist.
That's
Yeah, it was
exactly
broken wrist.
Something to heal
exactly
it like
what I was thinking.
rapidly. I don't think he was trying to get hella big like McGuire or Bonds. He was just
yeah.
like,
He's trying
get
to heal
me out of this
faster.
rehab assignment ASAP.
Yeah, and he figures like since the attention's off of me, I'm kind of good. I feel out of the limelight. I'm gonna take this little risk to heal as quickly as I can and get back there. Cause look, dude, we just signed the best hitter in baseball. I'm supposed to be that young best guy. Like I want to be there next to Juan Soto, making sure that we're competing on the national stage, right side of the plate, left side of the plate, best hitters, same team. Who's the best? That's what he wants. He wants to be back there as soon as possible. So I think for sure it was pressure to heal faster and use these drugs. Take a risk.
Well, now he can be in the playoffs and MLB The Show with all the free time he has now. So hope his PlayStation's hooked up.
What's his gamer tag, bro? Also, I looked up the drug he was using, like clostebol or whatever, clostebol. And I looked up the Wikipedia article for it, and I was scrolling down on the page, and there's all the little, it's like, what's the side effects? I clicked on side effects, and there was a little link that went to anabolic steroids and the side effects and everything. But then underneath that, the only thing in the whole section said, side effects, 80-game suspension in MLB. It was just, someone put that in there, and I
I
caught
checked it
before.
later that day and it was gone, but that shit was hilarious.
Yeah, in other news, I wanted to talk about Baez. He's getting paid like $23 million a year, and he's, I think, leading the league in errors, like 25. It's a pretty solid gig.
It's been pretty gross over there, dude. It's not looking great.
It's been a rough season for him. He's having the worst season of his career, and it's not looking like it's going to get better anytime soon.
It's just not a good vibe over there, I think. Maybe if he had a good team around him. He's a very vibe-heavy guy. He's got to have the dudes around him, and the energy's got to be right for him to be good, I think. But that's probably why the Mets moved on from him as well. Just like, you know what? Let's go. No.
He's asking a
Clubhouse
lot of
problem.
money for a pretty shitty performance.
Yeah. He was great with the Cubs, man. He performed with the Cubs, but after that, it's kind of... I think he has to fit in somewhere with another crew like he did there to feel like he can perform at that level again.
Yeah, I think he plays to the level of the talent around him, I think, for sure. And he's on Detroit right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know anybody else on Detroit, really. And on the Cubs, they were pretty stacked with him there, and he kind of rose to that level with them. But
Yeah.
now he's down in the dumps with the rest of Detroit.
To be fair, he's got 19 errors, not 25.
Okay, wow. $23 million, I can make 19 errors in a season, bro.
Owen, you're our error guy.
Quite the salary.
Get out there.
Did you guys see the Tatis statement that he had?
No.
He said that the medicine that he was prescribed by his doctor that was treated for ringworm is what came up for the drug in his peds. So he said that he had no idea that that was going to come up in his peds and that it was for ringworm. And he didn't say like when the date was or anything, but that's what he said. And then his the managers from the Padres came out and said that they didn't know until 3:45 p.m. And I think the statement was released around 5 p.m. So seems like everyone was in the dark, even Tatis maybe. I mean, I don't know. There's been a few doctors that have come out, Divish and Cespedes Family Barbecue tweeted about it, that some doctors have come out and said that kind of drug that he was tested for is not treated for ringworm. So at the end of the day, who really knows, you know?
He's lying.
Also, weird self-report.
I was gonna
Take a
say,
shower.
How the fuck you get ringworm
nasty,
playing
dude.
as an MLB
Bro,
player?
That's the biggest excuse I've ever heard. It's not the first time, especially dudes from the Latin world are like, oh, yeah, you get, we have to take, they get prescribed by doctors in their different countries, but they think they're being slick, but they're not, dude. There's a lot of people who have done this kind of thing.
Yo, these yoga mats are dirty.
In the UFC, Anderson Silva got caught for using performance-enhancing drugs, and he said he was taking boner pills.
Dude, these
Maybe-
excuses are fantastic.
They're like, if I say something really embarrassing, then they'll believe me that I
Oh,
wasn't.
it'll
actually
take the heat
juicing.
off of me. No.
No, no, it just looks worse because one, we know it's bullshit, and two, you're taking boner pills or you got ringworm. So
You know what's really embarrassing? Fucking pitchers batting.
Yeah, we don't see it a whole lot anymore. We
No,
almost
it's
saw
done now.
Matt
It's
Brash
over
bat
now.
the other day in that 13-inning game.
We were so close. At this point, even though we're American League guys, I'll admit I'm an American League guy. I've always
Yeah.
been. I always thought the National League strategy with the pitchers batting and all the pinch hitters was interesting, but
It's super interesting.
I've always been the AL DH Edgar Martinez loving dude. But which pitcher would
Yeah,
you
let's do
want
a
to see
CS guys.
fucking bat? Like, yeah. So which pitcher on the Mariners would you guys want to see actually taking at bat? Since
If it
Matt
came
Brash
down to it, yeah.
almost had to.
Yeah, I'll start it off. I think Seawald. I mean, he's got the grit in him. He's got the dog. He plays with a lot of emotion. I think when he played Toronto, after he struck out the last batter or got the last batter out,
the ground out to first.
he was just doing the sweepy motion just on camera. He didn't give a shit. I think, he comes up to the plate. He is waiting for a fastball and swinging as hard as he can.
I could see that.
That's probably true. What do you got, Allison?
Oh gosh. I think I might go with Matt Brash. He's
Okay.
young. I think he could read the ball well. I think he's one of those guys that would surprise you.
Yeah, for sure. I think so too. That'd be fun
I
to see.
agree. And he is roommates with Big Dumper. So Big Dumper might have given Big Dumper is Cal Raleigh for anyone who doesn't know. That is what we call him.
Big dumper.
Fat ass.
But they're roommates. So, maybe Cal will give him some tips. Maybe he'll go yard. Again, we almost had to use him the other night out of desperation. So what if he was our Luis Torrens that night? What if he had been our savior?
There was a chance he could have walked it
We'll
off. That's
never
pretty
know.
crazy.
That
Yeah,
would've been
we'll
cool.
never
No.
know.
When I saw his name coming up in the lineup, I knew we'd pinch hit for him, but I also had the thought, like, let him hit. Why not? My guy in the bullpen, I'm going to go with, like, the least expected dude to, like, get... I don't know. Penn Murphy's kind of quiet back there. I think Penn Murphy could get a hit for
He
some
squares
reason.
it up, you think?
I think he could put the barrel on it. Real simple swing, nothing crazy. I think the dude could put the barrel on it. I don't think he'd strike out his first at bat. I think he'd put the barrel on it, put it in play, maybe get a hit. I like Penn Murphy at bat.
I'm going Diego Castillo. I want to see those big-ass arms at work.
Dude,
I
I
think
bet he
he-
puts one in the air and tries to get it out of here.
Oh, he's going to try. I think he hits a double, though. If he can kind of rope one, I want to see him run, too.
I see a pretty swoopy swing with him. If he connects, man.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Maybe he doesn't hit
Oh,
any single or extra base hit. He probably just cranks one.
he's for power.
Yeah, he hits for power. That's true.
I'm gonna be the Debbie Downer on this one. I don't want to see any pitchers.
Fuck
hit.
you.
Universal
Fuck
DH
you.
was the greatest thing to happen to baseball. Pitchers hitting was so dumb. I hated it. It was, oh my god, Universal
Okay.
DH, best thing to happen to baseball.
Okay.
You're fired.
Patrick.
Allison, you're hired.
It's over, Patrick. That's over. This is a hypothetical American League pitcher from the bullpen hitting. Who do
This
you
is
got?
you run
dude?
out of
Who
options.
do you got?
It's the 13th inning. You have to have a
Who's
pitcher hit.
pitching?
All right, I'll play. I guess you'd go with Munoz, right? The dude can.
Oh, yeah.
The dude can hit 103, throws like a 92 mile per hour slider. Maybe he got a good read at the plate. Maybe he could poke one. He's kind of a bigger guy too. He looks strong.
Sack bunt.
Oh, or if we're going from older pitchers, Dan Altavilla.
That's not what we're doing. But that would be great.
I think Andres Munoz is a great pick because power pitcher, power hitter. I mean, all or nothing. He might strike out, but I think he could boost one.
Now, I'd like to see him sack bunt. That'd be amazing.
Drag bunt.
Barecki's the lefty, right? Let him lay a drag bunt down.
Oh, yeah.
You get that Ichiro speed going.
All right, we got a couple guests here, Nate and Nathan.
Hey guys, Nate here. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Just wanted to chime in on this topic. I agree with Owen over there on the Paul Sewald take. I just think the fire that he brings, obviously he's closed down a lot of big games for us. He's got the composure. He's going to go up there and not be too rattled by the situation if he, pinch hits in the 10th inning with the bases loaded. He's got the fire. He's going to go up there swinging for the fences and probably just hit a single at like 90 miles an hour because that's all he can hit with his arm too. But I would like to see Paul Sewald just because I know if he hits a walk-off single, he's bat flipping the shit out of that single. So I would say Paul Sewald for sure, just because of the fire.
Good pick. I got to say, Paul Sewald has Mariners dad vibes all over. And like every time he pitches, I'm like, yes, dad, let's fucking go, dad.
I was about to say, if he actually hit a ball, he would go from dad to daddy real quick.
There is that line for sure.
All right, everyone, that will do it for this Sogcast. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, send us messages if there's something you want to talk about. We always love you guys, and go Mariners!